about the time that you went to a sleepover as a child and something happened that instantly made you ready to go home?
I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood, so I have a ton of weird ass stories like this. But this one is one of the worst. In 5th grade, I was having a sleepover at a friend's house. And her family was like one of those like dog crazy family. Like the I make out with my dog lover type family. Anyway, we're at the dinner table and oh my God. When it was time to clear the dinner table, her mom would let the dogs lick the plates clean. And she put them back on the shelf. I'm looking at her like, and she says, dog saliva is clean. It's practically as good as soap. And I ate off those fucking plates.
Tell me about the time that you went to a sleepover as a child and something happened that instantly made you ready to go home.
Okay, one time in like 3rd grade, I was hanging out at my friend's house and her parents asked me if I wanted to stay for dinner. I said yes. I was like, what are we having? They said spaghetti. I was like, fuck yes, love spaghetti. So the mom is making everyone's plates. She is serving up the noodles and I was looking at the dinner table like, okay, where is the sauce? I see no pot of sauce. And then my friend pulled out a bottle of ketchup and everyone started putting ketchup on their noodles and they were using ketchup as their spaghetti sauce. I called my dad and told him to pick me up immediately, and when he got there and was like, what's wrong? I thought you were staying for dinner. I was like, Dad, you don't understand. They were making spaghetti and they used ketchup as the sauce!
Tell me about the time that you went to a sleepover as a child and something happened that instantly made you ready to go home. I'll go first. So I was like 7 or 8 at the time. It was my best friend's birthday. And she got this hotel room. So mind y'all, it's like 8 of us packed up in like one hotel room. Which is fine because y'all know how black people do. Everybody know that you're supposed to call to the front desk and get more rags and towels. That's law. Everybody know that. So yeah, tell me why it was only 2 washcloths and 2 towels. And I remember going there like, it's not enough, rags and stuff for everybody to wash. Tell me why her older cousin gonna look at me and say, oh, we could just share. And it wasn't even 2, y'all. It was 2, but somebody had used one of them to clean something up. So we only had one. One rag divided by 8 people. That don't add up, do it? No. So I'm like, who is we? Like, we, you speaking French because I'm not doing that. Take me home. I'm ready to go home. Like, I was so pissed, y'all. No, I'm not doing it. Tell me about the time that you went to a sleepover as a child and something happened that instantly made you ready to go home.
So I lived in a motel from 1st grade to 12th grade. It was owned by my dad. Here it is, here in New Jersey. But trust me, it was no sweet life with Zach and Cody. In fact, I was kind of miserable. My dad tried his best to keep it clean, but it was still filled with bugs. And my friends were never allowed to come over, obviously. So I had to go to their house. And one day in 5th grade, my friend Mark invited me to sleep over, and, well, here's what happened. Hey, Mark, so you ask your dad if he can take us to Blockbuster, and I'll look for my Rumble pack so we can play GoldenEye. Can I play? I gotta go home!
Tell me about the time that you went to a sleepover as a child and something happened that instantly made you ready to go home.
We're just going to add this to the Fat Friend Chronicles because if you are fat and have been to a sleepover, chances are you already know what I'm going to say. In middle school, I was invited to a sleepover. This was my first non-familial sleepover too. It was me and 4 other girls. And of course, the only big girl in the group. And while we're figuring out our sleeping arrangements, one of the girls was just like, haha, Jaya, you can sleep on the floor. Part of me already knew she wasn't playing, even though she was laughing. But shit got real sour when my friend actually brung in the blankets and the pillows and put 3 blankets on the bed and then put 1 on the floor. I was just like, y'all might as well go ahead and call Sharon because I'm not sleeping on the floor. It's a queen size bed and we are preteens. There's enough room for.
Tell me about the time that you went to a sleepover as a child and something happened that instantly made you ready to go home.
I watched a lot of responses to this one, and most of them were about like having to share a towel or bad spaghetti. I was only invited to one sleepover in my life, maybe because I was queer and neurodivergent. My childhood was a little different, but I was invited to Mike's sleepover, and I loved Mike. I had a huge crush on Mike. He was the first person to give me a nickname, and it was Wonder Horse, and he would make me count stuff off by tapping my feet against the ground. Anyway, I went to his birthday party and I had to sleep in the corner in the basement. They threw shoes at me all night. And I cried a lot, and his mom brought me home. And then Mike moved away suddenly in 8th grade, and it really bummed me out. Years later, I looked him up on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh, hey, Mike, how you doing? Do you remember me?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry for bullying you so much in school." And I was like, "Oh, I thought you were my childhood best friend."
Tell me about the time that you went to a sleepover as a child and something happened that instantly made you ready to go home.
That tub was nasty. It was dirty. Not like no footprints, you can see them type dirty. I'm talking about like brown spots everywhere dirty, hair everywhere dirty. Okay, cool, you don't clean, but dang, at least when you have guests, have some respect for yourself to clean your bathroom. When I mean to tell y'all, like, she'll be like, "You gonna take a shower?" I'm like, "Nah, I took a shower before I left." Or just then, I just don't take a shower. I will literally risk my own hygiene just to not take a shower in some dirty tub. Where y'all come from me? Yeah, I know. Okay, Lex, that's nasty, but I'm not taking no shower in no nasty tub. Who finna do that? To bring shower shoes? No, that's still no.
By the time that you went to a sleepover as a child and something happened that instantly made you ready to go home.
Okay, let me first say my mom has always said you don't sleep over at everybody's house because you don't know how clean they are. So this girl I didn't really know like that invited me and this other girl to her house for her sleepover / birthday party. I don't remember exactly what we did, but I want to say we went skating, maybe to Walmart, the gas station, and I think the park. And then we came back home. After a while being at her house, I finally meet her stepdad, and I swear he gave me this creepy vibe. Even the relationship that they had between each other was very weird to me and off-putting. But anyway, I just shook it off. And then I think we made ourselves something to eat for dinner. And I swear later on that night, I got bad stomach pains. I had no clue what made it happen, and I was like, maybe it's the food or maybe the dishes that we used to eat off of weren't clean. After I forced myself to go to sleep and I wake up, I see a trail of bunny poop around my sleeping bag in my head from the night. That's not it. I decide that instead of going home, I'm gonna go to the other girl's house for a sleepover.
Tell me about the time that you went to a sleepover as a child and something happened that instantly made you ready to go home.
I'm going to try to fit this all into one video. So I was about 8 or 9 years old and my next door neighbor invited me over for a sleepover. My mom instantly says yes because, you know, her mother used to do me and my sister's hair and it's literally right next door, so why not? I get to the sleepover. It's just a normal sleepover, you know, we're eating snacks, watching movies, playing games, blah, 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 blah. It's finally time to go to bed and we all go upstairs, and how her house was set up, so her room was at the top of the steps and you can look down the steps and see the kitchen and the living room. About an hour after we're upstairs laying down, we hear her mom open the door and she's having company. So I took a peek downstairs and it was about 5 or 6 guys and it was just her, which was kind of odd to me. So 5 to 10 minutes later, we hear a lot of moaning noises and we're like, what the fuck is that? Who's gonna go look? Of course, me being me, I had to go downstairs to look, and her mom's getting a train ran on her.
Tell me about the time that you went to a sleepover as a child and something happened that instantly made you ready to go home.
Okay, so I was like, we've known these people our whole life. Like, I've known them forever. I still know them. I recently worked with the girl and her mama, but we're not going to say no names. So I went. I was like 10. My other sister went. She was like 7 or 8, 7. And then my other sister went. She was like 4 or 5. So it was all 3 of us. And then like other little girls that the little girl knew. We didn't know them. We only knew each other. So right off the bat, her mama was like being real. Ain't nobody being by themselves. Thinking everybody was going to be gay with each other or with the other little girl. I don't know what she thought. Okay, so boom, we do all our little birthday festivities. She makes everybody lay down. So everybody's in their own sleeping bag under their own cover because the lady was not playing that. And we're like in lines on the floor like hot dogs. Okay, so she watches over us, sits on the couch and makes sure everybody goes to sleep. Well, I guess one of the little girls was faking. So everybody's asleep. And then out of nowhere, the birthday girl, she jumps up screaming and hollering, come back.
Tell me about the time that you went to a sleepover as a child and something happened that instantly.
Okay, so she jumped up screaming. Okay, so everybody like went back to sleep because the little girl's back there for about 10 minutes, back there with her mama. Nobody knew what happened. So me being older than everybody there, I'm fake sleeping because I want to hear what's going on. So the lady comes back. The girl and her mama come up there in the living room, makes everybody get up. She's like, everybody wake up right now, get out your sleeping bags. So we're all sitting on the couch like, what? Well, I guess the little girl lived in the apartment complex because the lady leaves with the 2 little girls and comes back with the 2 little girls and the little girl's mama. Well, they made her explain and apologize to everybody and explain what she was doing and why the little girl jumped up screaming. Well, come to find out, the little girl was faking sleep. Everybody else was really asleep. And she had put her hand inside the little girl's sleeping bag and was in the little girl's pants. And the little girl freaked out. But that's probably why her mama was acting like everybody was going to be gay the whole time, knowing that little girl probably had done something like that before. But I was ready to go. Shit was...
Tell me about the time that you went to a sleepover as a child and something happened that instantly made you ready to go home.
Please ignore how I look, and please ignore that I'm missing most of my lashes, my lash extensions. I was about 8, and I went to my friend Destiny's house, and it was just another sleepover, you know, we're 8. But this time was different. So we were playing, having a good time, and then her mom comes in, and she's like, Destiny, it's time to take a bath. I'm like, okay, well, go take your bath, I'll continue playing with the dolls. And her mom's like, no, you're gonna take a bath with her. Huh? So yeah. Her mom runs us a bath water, and we get in it, and we take a bath together. I took a bath with my friend, and I mean, what the fuck was I supposed to say? I was fucking 8. We took the bath, and yeah. I went home and told my mom, and she was freaked out and never let me go back.
Tell me about the time that you went to a sleepover as a child and something happened that instantly made you ready to go home.
Honestly, there's a lot of instances I don't even know which one to pick. I know one. I was staying at my friend's house, and it was time for me to leave. My friend did not want me to leave. My friend's mom was like, hey, it's time for Bunny to go home. And they did not want to hear it. They started cussing their mom out. Their dad had to drag them into their room and lock them in their room. They had a lock on the outside of their door. They then proceeded to start throwing their body up against the door, trying to break it down. Their mom rushed me out of the house, saying, come on, Bunny, run, run! As I was leaving the house, I saw them in their window. They pulled up their window. They had bars on their windows. Not windows, window. Pulled up the window, started screaming my name out the window, shaking on the bars, while me and their mom sped off to my house.
Tell me about the time that you went to a sleepover as a child and something happened that instantly made you ready to go home.
Yo, I've been waiting to tell this story. Okay, so when I was younger, I stayed at my friend's house. Keep in mind, this is my first sleepover ever. And I'm not going to put her out. I'm not trying to put her out there, but she had roaches. And I'm not going to judge you because you got roaches. I mean, like... So, everybody's making their little pallets on the floor. It's me, my friend, my other friend. And I'm asleep, and in the middle of the night, I just feel like this, like, in my ear. So I'm trying to, like, okay, I don't know what it was. Maybe I'm laying on a chip or something, I don't know. Bitch, I feel it again. But this time it feel, like, cold and just, like, real ickety. I don't know. So, bitch, I sit up, like, about to have a breakdown because I don't know what the fuck this shit is. And bitch, it's a roach in my ear. I went home that night